So he looks to be out a bit wider, a bit earlier. Okay, he's moving through. That was unlucky. He had a good position, I thought, into and off the top of the ramp. Let's have an arm for a signal that he's okay.
Okay, welcome back to the webcast from the IWWF European and Africa Over 35 Championships from Ioannina in Greece. Apologies, we had a few technical issues with the start of jump proceedings this afternoon. At the moment we have John Phillips in the water, who's just failed to land his second jump, but I'll just reiterate what we've had since we've been off air. In the over 65 ladies preliminary round, Diane Kirby of Ireland has gone, and her highest score was 17 metres. She goes straight through to the final. She was the only lady in that category. And now we're on the first jumper in the over 65 men preliminary round, and that's John Phillips of Great Britain. So far he's fallen on both of his jumps, but he seems absolutely fine. He's now on the back of the boat putting the skis back on for his third and final attempt, so he'll be hoping that he can hang on to this one, as Dush Lukic from Great Britain, who is helping me out again this afternoon, says he looked good into that, but just sort of landed and lost his skis, Dush.
Yes, that's right. There may have been a little bit too much body movement on the ramp, and I'm guessing that's probably what twisted him round. My gut feel is he probably also needs to keep his left shoulder a little bit further away, and that will allow him to keep pushing out as he goes off the top of the ramp. He needs to land this one for the overall.
Nice of Diane Kirby of Ireland to come and join us while she's still dripping from her jumps. 3 jumps, progressively longer. Presumably you're extremely happy with that, and that's exactly what you wanted to do, go out with a safe one and get longer and longer.
I wanted to just land, so I'm extremely happy, and to get 3 landings. To get a first landing was really, really important to me, because then you can relax. Otherwise the pressure, and this is precisely what's happening now with John, he's got 1 jump left, so the pressure is horrific. I've been there and I really feel for him.
Yeah, I mean the jump in particular, and just I should say, as John's in the water and about to take off for his 3rd jump, how's the hip after that, Diane?
I'm not even thinking about the hip.
Brilliant. Okay, well, congratulations and thanks for coming over to talk to us, and let's look out now for John Phillips of Great Britain, who's going to go down the lake and then back in to head over the ramp for the 3rd time.
Δεν μπόρεσε να κρατήσει το δεύτερο άλμα του αθλητής από την Μεγάλη Βρετανία, John Phillips, οπότε θα συνεχίσει για την 3η του προσπάθεια και τελευταία.
Okay.
So Di, maybe you could tell us how it feels out there. Can you feel that breeze at the moment?
No, it was very, very slight, and obviously remember I'm doing a single cut, so I don't feel it. John's doing a double cut, so that will affect his timing for his counter cut, and then his cut to the ramp, and obviously his position in the air. So he will feel it in a way that I didn't.
Thanks, Di. I understand. So he's out here on the 3/4. So we're just looking to see if he can hold that left shoulder away as he comes into the ramp. He's got to work that left shoulder. No. Unlucky. Give us a hand to show you're okay, John.
Yeah, that's a real shame for John Phillips, but he does seem to be okay, although we were calling out, asking him to wave a hand. I think with those helmets, yes, he has just waved his hand. I think he heard that one, but it must be quite difficult to hear is absolutely fine, which is the most important thing. That was John Phillips of Great Britain. Let's give him a round of applause.
Δυστυχώς δεν μπόρεσε να κρατήσει και το τρίτο άλμα του ο John Phillips. Είναι καλά όμως. Ο αγώνας θα συνεχιστεί με την κατηγορία γυναίκες άνω των 55 ετών, προκριματικός γύρος άλματος. Είναι 2 οι γυναίκες που θα λάβουν μέρος, η Λιζέτ Μπέκερ από τη Νότια Αφρική και η Πέτρα Μπόμπλ Φίλμπικ από Γερμανία. Το ύψος του βατήρα στο 1 μέτρο και 50 εκατοστά.
Again, that is a real shame for John because, as I said, there are only a handful of skiers in this category, and landing a jump would mean that all of them would go through to the final, but because John fell on all 3, he will not progress. So bad news for John.
Επόμενος αθλητής στο νερό, στην κατηγορία άνω των 65 ανδρών, προκριματικός γύρος άλματος, David Hawley από Μεγάλη Βρετανία.
So on the water now is David Hawley of Great Britain. I have a PB for him of 21.5 metres. Does that sound about right, Dush?
Certainly, whilst he's been in this age category, I'm sure that's right. There was a time when he was jumping quite a considerably greater distance, but that was in the years past.
So here comes David Hawley for his first attempt.
Yeah, and he's just going to take a steady one from behind the boat just to get himself in shape. You can see working through now on his heels. Might ski that away. No, just a bit too much on his heels. So needs to remember just to keep working into the ramp, over and through the ramp, and keep the left shoulder moving away.
Yeah, so look at that absolutely fantastic view of the lake here. See this skier, David Hawley, is turning in front of the island. He's not going round the island. It's up to the skier whether or not he wants to do that. So here we go as he approaches for his second jump.
Okay, so this time same again. He's going to go for a steady one, progressive. Look, you can see he's getting working harder and harder. Needs to hold that position. He's a little bit on the heels. He's going to ride that away though. Well done, Dave.
Fabulous. So we'll just wait to see his score.
Αν και δεν ήταν επιτυχημένο το πρώτο άλμα του David, η δεύτερη του προσπάθεια είναι ok. Στάθηκε στο άλμα, σε λίγο θα έχουμε και τα μέτρα.
So Dave does his skiing at the Wiremill Club, Wiremill in the UK. Oh, we've got a score for Dave, 19 metres, 1-9. So as I was saying, Dave skis at the Wiremill Club. The Wiremill Club are famous in the UK for aggressive jumping, and not always worried too much about style. They just care about distance and aggression. But it looks to me as though Dave maybe has learned his lesson, and he's showing a lot more sort of composure and style and technique into the ramp.
19 μέτρα το δεύτερο άλμα του αθλητή της Μεγάλης Βρετανίας, David Hawley. Έχει ακόμη μια προσπάθεια.
So he's pulled out a little bit later, he's come off the other side, he's still got on the heels, but he's going for a bit more distance, he's ridden it out. I'm going to say that's 20 metres, let's see.
I saw he let go with one hand there. Is that something that you would do for any particular reason?
It allows you to wave to the crowd.
Yeah, but it was the wrong hand. The crowd's the other side of the lake. Yeah, well, you're right, Dush. In fact, it was a little longer than you said, 20.6 metres, so an improvement for David Hawley.
Το τρίτο και τελευταίο άλμα του αθλητή της Αγγλίας, David Hawley, είναι 20 μέτρα και 60 εκατοστά. Κρατάει το τρίτο και τελευταίο, το 20 και 60. Ο αθλητής στο άλμα έχει 3 προσπάθειες. Το καλύτερο λοιπόν μετράει για την κατάταξή του. Επόμενος αθλητής στο νερό, Lasse Jonsson από Νορβηγία. Ο τελευταίος αθλητής της κατηγορίας άνδρες άνω των 65 ετών, προκριματικός γύρος άλματος, πανευρωπαϊκό πρωτάθλημα άνω των 35 ετών, κανάλι αμφιθέας Ioannina.
So leaving the jetty now is Lasse Jonsson of Norway. His best score, 29.3 metres. Back in 2000, though, it was a little longer than that, 32.3 metres. So he was first in the jumps in the Europeans last year in his category. So he'll be looking for a good distance.
Yes, and you can see that with some of the jumpers, the boat is not going around the island, but with the slightly longer distance jumpers, it will have to give them the distance for the run-up. So it'll be interesting to see what Lasse's setup is, whether he actually pulls out for a counter or how he starts his first jump. This is what I call a three-quarter. Okay, so he's pulled out wide. Slow turn, steady, moved a little bit before he hit the ramp, but that was a pretty steady jump. Good first jump there for Lasse. So Lasse's getting some instruction from Lisa there on the shoreline. He's giving him some tips. And we've got the opening jump for Lasse, 28.3 metres. 28.3, that's a great opening jump.
Να ευχαριστήσουμε τους διασώστες εδώ στο σκάφος, το γκρι που όλη μέρα είναι εκεί, προσέχοντας μην χτυπήσει κάποιος αθλητής να τρέξουν αμέσως να τον παραλάβουν. Πανούλης Ράτσικας και η ομάδα του.
So he's pulling out quite a bit wider, quite a bit more aggressive on the three-quarter cut. Around he comes. It's a slow turn. It's steady and progressive. And that looks like a good jump again.
Ωραίο άλμα και το δεύτερο. Είναι ο αθλητής Λάσε Γιόνσεν από από Νορβηγία. Συγγνώμη. Το πρώτο άλμα του ήταν 28-30. Περιμένουμε το δεύτερο.
Well, just thought that might be about the same, and in fact it is 28.5 metres, so that's, well, it was 28.3 earlier, so pretty consistent jumping from Lasse.
Indeed, and if he's sensible, he's not going to go crazy on the third one. He might go a little bit wider, a little bit later, but he's not going to want to change anything. He's going to want to have a good progressive pull all the way into and through and over the ramp.
Well, he goes through to the final anyway, as you say, so you want to keep it safe, but it's good practice as well, isn't it? Having another jump ahead of the finals.
Yeah. Sorry, please.
28 μέτρα και 50 εκατοστά το δεύτερο άλμα του αθλητή Λάσε Γιόνσεν από Νορβηγία. Έχει ακόμα μια προσπάθεια και ελπίζουμε να δώσει λίγο παραπάνω, έτσι να δούμε κι άλλο μεγαλύτερο άλμα.
Okay, let's see how he goes. Same position, maybe a little later. Steady. And I think that's another safe jump, very good jump. I reckon it's a similar distance. But please, put your hands together for Lasse. That's great jumping.
Yep, so the score for the final jump for Lasse Jonsson of Norway, 26.6 metres, so shorter than the other two, but fairly consistent jumping there. And as I say, he and David Hawley from Great Britain will go through to the finals. And we'll be moving on to the over 55 ladies preliminary round next.
Και το τελευταίο άλμα του αθλητή Λάσε Γιόνσεν από Νορβηγία είναι 26 μέτρα και 60 εκατοστά. Το δεύτερό του 28 και 50 είναι το καλύτερο, οπότε κρατάει το 28 και 50. Είναι στον τελικό, άλλωστε είναι μόνο 3 οι αθλητές εδώ. Θα συνεχίσουμε με την κατηγορία γυναίκες άνω των 55 ετών, άλμα προκριματικός γύρος, κανάλι αμφιθέας, πανευρωπαϊκό πρωτάθλημα άνω των 35, στα όμορφα Ioannina. Οι δύο αθλήτριες είναι στην κατηγορία αυτή, η Λιζέτ Μπέκερ από Νότια Αφρική και η Πέτρα Μπόμπλ Φίντμπινγκ από Γερμανία.
So as you'll see, the jumpers are going off a different jetty in the middle of the lake. The advantage obviously is that they run down the lake and back, so they have a good run in whether or not they go round the island. In the water now, about to take off, is Lizette Becker of South Africa in the over 55 women category. Yeah, Lizette's teammate Jan Johnson is just here, so she's going to give me a little bit of a background and maybe talk us through her first jump.
Okay, well, I'm rubbish about ramp jumping, but I can give you a bit of information about Lisette. Her goal is to do more than 23.8 meters. It's the European record that's been held by Diane Kirby, who was jumping in the 65-plus age group. Big respect, Diane, with a new hip. And it'll also be a new South African record, which is also, ironically, 23.8 meters. So that's her goal. She's just going to be taking it relatively easy. For the first jump, no heroics, but she's promised us a record, so let's look out for it.
Thanks, Jan. Yes, here she comes in with a three-quarter cut into the ramp.
Okay, that was actually a double cut, and in fact, I reckon she may have actually just broken the record, as I think she's done the distance. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, apologies. I was looking in the other direction first, and I assumed she'd made a three-quarter cut, so a double cut. So well done, and thanks to Jan for telling us a little bit about her and her aims. Of course, you're a slalom specialist, aren't you? So that's why you said you didn't know anything about jumps. So very well done. That is absolutely brilliant. So there you go. She has broken the record and the South African record with her very first jump, and she's got 2 more to go.
Διπλό κόψιμο για το πρώτο της άλμα έκανε η Lisette Becker από την Νότια Αφρική. Σε λίγο θα έχουμε και το μήκος του άλματος. 25 μέτρα και 20 εκατοστά το πρώτο άλμα της Lisette. Έχει άλλες 2 προσπάθειες να αυξήσει το μήκος του άλματός της.
So I'm told by Jan that Lisette actually broke the she won the world championship with 29.2 in Mexico, and I think 2014. So she's got form here. She's broken the record now, and there you go. She's wider. She's got the skis out. She's wider. She's really attacking this now, pulling out to the side on the double cut. The final cut coming round, there's a slow turn, but now there's a more aggressive lean. There's a little bit of weight on the heels there. Still a good jump, but I think there's a bit too much weight on the heels to get the distance. But a great bit of jumping again from Lisette.
A bit more information about Lisette. She lives in Pretoria, and she goes skiing on a lake. It's so full of hyacinth at the moment that she's completely unable to do any ramp jumping. And the last time she ramp jumped in a competition, we only have 1 ramp in South Africa. We did not go to that venue this last season. So the last time she jumped, in fact, was 2 seasons ago. So incredible, because Lisette just does it with her head.
That's very impressive indeed. And the score for her second jump, Adush called it right absolutely again, that it wasn't quite as far. She was a little on her heels. That was 24.8 metres. You're good at this, aren't you, Dush?
Not really. Not really.
24 μέτρα και 80 εκατοστά το δεύτερο άλμα της Lisette. Έχει ακόμη μια προσπάθεια. Σιγά σιγά ανεβαίνουμε, για να δούμε.
Okay, she's out wide again. Here she comes. Good width here. She's got to get the weight on the front of the skis. So she's a little bit still on the heels, but that's a better position off the ramp. I'm going to say it's a similar score again. Please, the new record holder, Lisette Becker, please give her a round of applause when she comes in, the new European record holder.
You can see also the replay.
Κράτησε και το τρίτο της άλμα η Lisette. Σε λίγο θα μάθουμε και το αποτέλεσμα.
So there you go. In fact, that was the longest one of the lot, 25.6. So 3 successfully landed jumps, all of them in excess of the previous record. So that is a remarkable achievement. Well done, Lisette Becker of South Africa.
25 μέτρα και 60 εκατοστά, το τελευταίο και μεγαλύτερο άλμα της Λιζέτ. Congratulations, Λιζέτ. Επόμενη αθλήτρια και τελευταία στην κατηγορία αυτή, 55, άνω των 55 ετών γυναίκες, η Πέτρα Μπόμπλ Φίλμπιγκ από Γερμανία.
So the athlete on the water now is Petra Bobler-Filbig of Germany. So Petra Bobler-Filbig of Germany, she won this category last year. She's coming in for her first jump.
Okay, single cut from the wake. Just a tummy settler. A little bit on her heels, but she's okay. Lost the handle with one hand, but safely away. The distance here, 15.9 meters.
«15 μέτρα και 90 εκατοστά, το πρώτο άλμα της Πέτρα. Έχει άλλες δύο προσπάθειες.
So Petra is now approaching the ramp for her second jump. Let's see if she gets a little bit more weight on the balls of her feet, a little bit more progression through the ramp as she pulls. No, didn't make that one. I think it's the same issues. So she just needs to make a progressive lean and cut through through into the ramp and make sure that there's still weight going through her left shoulder.
So Germany's Petra Bubler-Filbig going around the island now, coming in for her third and final jump. Her best score so far, 15.9 from that first jump, then falling on the second one. So here comes Petra on her third and final attempt. Looks like she, going to take it easy.
Yeah, that was a bit safer. The middle one was a little bit wobbly, but that's fine. She'll be happy with that. You can see on the replay that there was quite a bit of body movement on the ramp. Didn't quite have the tension going through the ramp, and as a consequence, the arms moved up to the chest, and that's a destabilizing factor. We're now just waiting for her score before we go into the over 55 men's jump.
So final score, or the distance for Petra, is 15 meters exactly, so a little less than her first jump. But both Petra Bubler-Filbig of Germany and Lisette Becker of South Africa will go through to the finals, and we'll be moving on to the over 55 men's preliminary round. There are 4 Britons in this and 1 Frenchman. We'll be opening up with Tim Hazelwood, who has a PB of 48.3 metres. So that 48.3 metres for an over 55 is a British record, Dush, yep?
That's correct. So Tim, as you say, is the world champion and the British record holder for the over 55 category.
Το τρίτο και τελευταίο άλμα της Πέτρα ήταν 15 μέτρα. Τελείωσε η κατηγορία των γυναικών άνω των 55 ετών και θα συνεχίσουμε με την κατηγορία ανδρών άνω των 55, άλμα προκριματικός γύρος, και πρώτος αθλητής στο νερό από Μεγάλη Βρετανία, Timothy Hazelwood.
So Tim Hazelwood of Great Britain on the water now. Hazelwood from the Hazelwood dynasty. Many world-class skiers in the Hazelwood family hail from Lincolnshire in Great Britain. He's 58 years old, and I'll hand you over to Dush, who will talk you through his first jump.
Thanks, Jane. I think in the first instance, Tim's just going to want to get a feel for the course setup, a bit of a feel for how the ramp goes here. The wind has dropped completely, so the conditions are perfect. And I would imagine he's still going to countercut. There it is. He's opening up on the countercut now and making his first turn. Trying to get out as wide as he can, but he's still not going to go crazy. A lot wider and a fair bit later than the other skiers. You can feel the gas coming on from the boat, and a great first jump from Tim, and stands it as a perfect first jump from Tim.
Didn't look a struggle at all, did it? There was no sitting on the back of the skis and taking the snatch. Absolutely easy. Look at that replay there.
Yes, you can see perfect form in the air. He's wanting to try and keep his shoulders and his head forward and over the front of the skis, but not too far. And he'll be pleased with that.
Καταπληκτικό το πρώτο άλμα του αθλητή της Μεγάλης Βρετανίας, του Timothy Hazelwood.
And the score for that first jump, 43.7 metres. So very pleased with that, I would have thought, bearing in mind his record is 48.3, and that was his first jump. So he's got more to give, do you think, Dush?
No doubt, but I don't think he's going to want to go crazy because it's the preliminary round, so I'd expect him just to make sure he's got control on the ramp. Sophia.
43 και 70 το πρώτο άλμα του αθλητή της Μεγάλης Βρετανίας, Timothy Hazelwood. Έχει άλλες 2 προσπάθειες. Πιστεύω θα δούμε μεγαλύτερο άλμα.
All right, Tim's on his way in now for the second one. I'd expect him to go a bit harder, but I really don't expect him to go hell for leather on this one. Let's see. Breeze has just come up. A little bit of breeze has just come up. There's a little bit more power into that one, but he didn't get the push off the top of the ramp, so I don't think that's a long jump.
Obviously, with a jumper of Tim's calibre, I'm sure it doesn't make that much of a difference. But having had no wind at all on jump one, and then suddenly it to come up a little bit on jump two, does that put you off at all, Dush? You jump a bit, don't you?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
So, no, I mean, I just think Tim's form into the ramp wasn't the same. There's a little bit of a breeze, but it was just his form into the ramp. Just the position wasn't quite the same. Wasn't able to maintain the progression and keep the body moving away from the ramp.
Yeah, so that's reflected in the distance, 37.3 metres for Tim Hazelwood.
37 μέτρα και 30 εκατοστά το δεύτερο άλμα του Timothy Hazelwood. Έχει ακόμα μια προσπάθεια.
Right, so Tim's coming in now for the final jump, out wide. Good and wide here, you can see on the screen now, getting ready to make the turn. Final turn for the ramp. Boat gas on, slower, good push off the top of the ramp. That looks like a pretty decent jump.
So not quite his best jump. The best one was the first one. This jump scored 42.3 metres, so a little less than his first jump, but three very, very solid jumps for Tim Hazelwood, and that applause from Dush, of course, his British teammate, so very, very good. And the next jumper up will be another Briton, Mark Beard.
42 μέτρα και 30 εκατοστά το τρίτο και τελευταίο άλμα του αθλητή Timothy Hazelwood. Κρατάει το πρώτο που ήταν και μεγαλύτερο, 43 και 70. Επόμενος αθλητής στο νερό, επίσης από Μεγάλη Βρετανία, Mark Beard.
Mark's the current reigning European over 55 men's jump champion. So the contest is on. Let's see how he gets on and wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, I'll wait to see what he does, but earlier he told me what he was expecting, so I'm not going to say anything now. We'll let you know later. So Mark Beard of Great Britain, the next jumper to head off from the jump jetty. So Mark Beard heading back to the lake, approaching the ramp for his first attempt.
Mark's on the three-quarter cut here. And he's not going too aggressively, he's going for the safe landing in the first instance. It's a good first jump. It's a really good first jump for Mark. It's a tummy settler. He was not really out wide on the three-quarter cut. He was just on the other side of the outside side of the wake, but made sure that he had progressive acceleration into and through the ramp.
Ασφαλές το πρώτο άλμα του αθλητή Mark Bird από την Αγγλία. Ετοιμάζεται για τη δεύτερη του απόπειρα. Γυρίζει το σκάφος, θα ξαναεπιστρέψει για το δεύτερο άλμα του.
So that's 32.9 metres for Mark Beard of Great Britain. And he needn't push it, Dush, because there are only 5 jumpers in this category, and anyone who lands a jump goes through to the final. So that's him through. So it'll be interesting to see what the final 2 jumps are from Mark.
32 μέτρα και 90 εκατοστά το δεύτερο άλμα του Mark Bird. And Dush, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I think Mark's he's gonna make sure that he just secures another solid jump. So he's going to ensure that he just produces another steady jump. Mark's got it in him to go quite a bit further, but he's safely into the final with that jump, I would venture to suggest. He's a little bit wider this time than he was on the first one, but he's just going to want to make sure that his technique's right and he's holding the position into and through the ramp there. Another good-looking jump. Skied it away. I think that's going to be a bit long. I'm going to say that's 35, 36 metres maybe, so he'll be pleased with that. He's jumping very well.
Για τους θεατές που κάθονται στις κερκίδες μπορούν να βλέπουν τα μέτρα του κάθε άλματος απέναντι στον πύργο των κριτών που υπάρχει ένας πίνακας φωτεινός. Εκεί γράφονται τα μέτρα του κάθε άλματος.
Well, there you go. Dush is right again. An improvement, 36.3 metres. Really good jumping from Mark Beard. And he has one more jump to go.
...36 μέτρα και 30 εκατοστά το δεύτερο άλμα του αθλητή Mark Beard. Έχει ακόμα μια προσπάθεια. Θα δούμε αν θα δώσει παραπάνω κάτι.
It'll be interesting to see if Mark actually pushes this or not. He's got the finals to be thinking about, but he's looking pretty wide out there. He's let that one go. Let that one go. That was a good call. Put your hands together for Mark Beard. Great jump skiing.
Yeah, fantastic. He passed on that, obviously for safety. No need to go over the jump if it's any risk at all. And so his longest jump, 36.3 metres. And I said he told me earlier what he'd be happy with. And I know that he will be very happy because he said he would be happy with a safe 33 or 34 metres. So he's exceeded that. So well done, Mark Beard of Great Britain.
Όταν βλέπετε έναν αθλητή να κάνει άρνηση και να μην ανεβαίνει στο βατήρι, αυτό σημαίνει ότι δεν ήταν ασφαλές για αυτόν να ανέβει. Έτσι, ο αθλητής της Μεγάλης Βρετανίας Mark Bird στο τρίτο του άλμα είδε ότι δεν μπορεί να ανέβει το βατήρα γιατί δεν θα ήταν ασφαλές, έτσι προτίμησε την άρνηση.
So, Dush, the next skier is another Brit, Paul Hammersley. It's fair to say that Great Britain has its fair share of very good jumpers, particularly in the older age groups.
That's right, actually, Jane. Paul has also, I believe, been a record holder at European level and a European champion. I'm not sure which year that was, but I think he's recorded in the past the best of in excess of 35 metres.
Yeah, I think I've got a record that he may have jumped 38.4 metres. He tells us his age is old. And he's been a senior 3 overall, 3 times winner, so a very good 3 eventer. So Paul Hammersley having a quick word with Mark Beard, who's coming back in. As Mark comes in, Paul goes out. I don't know if that was a bit of word of advice as to what the jump feels like.
Out fairly wide, but he's not going crazy. He's just going to make sure he tries to land this one. Good position into the ramp, good position off the ramp, and a solid landing. That's a very good opening jump from Paul Hammersley.
Ωραίο άλμα το πρώτο του Πολ. «33 μέτρα και 80 εκατοστά» το πρώτο άλμα του Πολ Hammersley από τη Μεγάλη Βρετανία. Έχει άλλες δύο προσπάθειες, ελπίζουμε να αυξήσει τα μέτρα, να δούμε καλύτερο άλμα.
So the distance on that jump for Paul Hammersley, 33.8 meters, 33.8. So Paul Hammersley has gone round the island, give himself a long run in, doing a double cut.
Το δεύτερο άλμα του Paul.
That's what I said. You are actually a jump expert. You should be out there then, shouldn't you?
No comment. So I think Paul's going to be very happy with that. I should imagine now he's not going to push it too hard. He's just probably going to want to get a bit of a feel for it. He may even go a little bit later, a bit wider, and refuse just to see how the conditions suit him, and just to test out an attempt at a longer jump without actually putting himself on the ramp. Let's see what he does. Out for the counter. Okay, so he's got good width here. He's going to go for this. Yep, he's going for it. And that's another good jump from Paul. Great jumping from Paul Hammersley.
Yeah, that was 36 meters, so that is the longest jump of the three for Paul Hammersley. So very good indeed. I'm sure he'll be pleased with that, Dush.
I'm sure he will, because he's been skiing so well. Really safe jumps and very solid, good distance. Really great form from Paul on all three jumps. Congratulations.
Sitting on the jump jetty now is Rodney Rowlands of Great Britain. As I say, the fourth of four British skiers in this preliminary round, heading into the water. He'll have presumably been buoyed by the other results from the British skiers, but will be looking to land some good safe jumps himself.
36 μέτρα το τελευταίο και καλύτερο άλμα του Paul Hammersley από την Μεγάλη Βρετανία. Επόμενος αθλητής, επίσης από Μεγάλη Βρετανία, Rodney Rowlands.
So here we go then, Rodney Rowlands of Great Britain, the penultimate skier in the over 55 men preliminary round.
So I think Rod's personal best, registered at least, is 20.5. I know in previous years he's jumped as far as 30 metres. I don't think he's going to be looking to attack that. I think he just wants to make sure that he gets into the 20 metres zone perhaps, and safely. Okay, Rod's on his way in, single cut from the wake. Gentle progression there, he's looking to land this one clearly. Bit of a shame, bit of body movement on the ramp, needs to keep the body a little bit more still on the ramp.
Δυστυχώς δεν μπόρεσε να κρατήσει το πρώτο άλμα του ο Ρόντνεϊ, έχει όμως άλλες δύο προσπάθειες.